Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week.
Coming up on the November 10th edition of Carolina Week.
We'll tell you what might change on campus because of a predicted state budget shortfall of billions of dollars.
I'm Rachel Nash. One possible effect would be the loss of some of our best professors.
In sports, the football team prepares for the biggest game of the season, and it's tournament time for several Olympic sports teams.
Weathercaster Carl Barnes will let us know if we need to get our fall coats out this weekend.
All that and an alternative way to relieve stress when you need it the most. Carolina Week starts right now.
From the James F. Goodman Studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, connecting campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
It's something students, faculty, and UNC officials have weighing heavily on their minds: proposed budget cuts for the UNC system. Good evening, I'm Claudia Rupsich.
And I'm Eddie Sykes. Thanks for joining us. It could be the third straight year of trying to provide a quality education with less support from the state. Reporter Jennifer Kessinger tells us what kinds of cuts UNC is looking at and how they could affect students.
The Board of Governors approved a $2.7 billion budget for the 2011 school year and sent the proposal to the General Assembly last week. But the state's $3 billion deficit is likely to mean more cuts for the UNC system's 17 schools. Vice President for Finance Ernie Murphy says the proposed cuts will be tougher to cope with than previous cuts.
I think we've trimmed the fat already pretty much over the last several years of budget cuts, and so this is more a bone, but it's going to mean some restructuring of things.
Student Body President Hogan Medlin says the cuts come as a shock because of the state's historically high appropriations to system schools. But he also said he and other students won't remain silent if the legislature decides to make big cuts to the budget.
Or delivering a message, telling our state legislators that, hey, you cut us this much more, you're hurting our ability to provide financial aid to students who really need it, or you're increasing the size of my class.
Administrators are looking at two possible scenarios: a 5% cut, roughly $135 million, or a 10% cut, about $270 million, system-wide. There are more than 200,000 full-time students enrolled in the UNC system. And as UNC braces for budget cuts, students are wondering just how those cuts will affect their education. With these cuts, Murphy says students could see tuition hikes, increases in class sizes, and fewer course offerings. Medlin says students are concerned about seeing a decrease in the quality of academics at UNC.
And we don't want to see programs go from our university because that's really lowering the quality of our education.
And no one wants the system's academic standards to slip. The General Assembly will begin budget discussions in January. In Chapel Hill, I'm Jennifer Kessinger, Carolina Week.
Well, one big piece of this puzzle is how the budget cuts have affected faculty members. Carolina has to compete with other major universities for the best and brightest instructors. Rachel Nash joins us live in the studio. Rachel, are we falling behind in that fight?
Many people think we are, Eddie, and they say this competitive disadvantage could have negative effects on the quality of classroom teaching.
Professor of Library Science Brian Sturm hasn't seen a pay raise in 2 years.
When it gets lean, which it always does, you end up having to deal with it.
But personal penny pinching isn't his main concern. Sturm fears UNC won't be able to keep or attract the country's top professors.
The quality of the education just has to go down. It can't sustain itself.
And Executive Vice Chancellor and Provost Bruce Carney agrees. That's why he proposed a merit-based salary increase rewarding professors who achieve in and out of the classroom.
The lack of salary increases for 2 years, and now it's probably going to be 3 years, just sends a demoralizing message to faculty.
With the projected budget cuts coming next year, newly hired faculty members would be the first to go.
We're getting down to the place where everybody who doesn't have tenure or a firm contract has some risk.
New faculty members are also more likely to be approached for employment by other universities. But Carney says the state legislature won't accept any proposals for pay raises this year, even if supported from tuition dollars. And senior Megan Shallcross says no matter what, professors should teach at the best of their ability.
Hopefully that wouldn't affect their academic contributions.
And pay raise or not, Sturm says he trusts the administration to make the best of a bad situation.
I think the UNC traditionally, from what I have seen in the 12 years I've been here, has been very good about finding ways to preserve the integrity and the quality of the education here in spite of constant budget cuts.
Eddie, the proposal from the provost wouldn't go in effect until possibly the 2011-2012 school year, so it looks like faculty members will go at least one more year with no increase in salary.
Okay, Rachel, does the provost think the switch to Republican control in the state legislature will have any effect on funding for our higher ed?
He thinks it doesn't make any difference, Eddie. The budget problems are so deep, only an economic recovery is likely to solve them.
Okay, thanks, Rachel. That's Rachel Nash live in the studio. Thanks.
The UNC system is making plans to revise the funding process for all 17 institutions. UNC students might need to hit the books a little harder. System President Erskine Bowles is looking to reward campuses with more funding if students perform well. The system gets about $12,000 from the state for each full-time student enrolled. The proposed change would consider enrollment growth, graduation rates, and retention rates as factors for campus funding. Currently, all but 3 of the 17 campuses in the system are hitting their retention rate goals. UNC is on the good list. Amid all the economic uncertainty, university administrators are working hard to plan the academic future of Carolina. Students and faculty can now get a glimpse of the draft plan that will shape the next 10 years of UNC academics. Administrators hope the plan will help boost academic performance. The plan focuses on key areas like academic experiences, global education, and diversity. All of the proposals come at a time when UNC officials don't know how new legislative leaders will deal with funding initiatives, a state budget shortfall, and increasing university enrollment. The final plan will be out in January.
Well, some Chapel Hill residents might finally see some relief after years of living with poor quality drinking water. Residents in the Rogers Eubank neighborhood say the landfill next door is spoiling their well water. After a public outcry, officials are taking steps to fix the problem. Community members won a $75,000 grant last week to connect 8 area homes to Chapel Hill water. Although they acknowledge the progress, residents and critics say town leaders will have to do a lot more to end residents' water woes. Well, another group of Chapel Hill residents is still raising questions about the proposed Obie Creek development. Obie Creek is a planned area across from Southern Village on US 15501, outlined here in red. The 120-acre development would include a 1,200 homes, a hotel, and retail space. Residents largely oppose a recommendation that the council treat Obie Creek like UNC's future satellite campus, Carolina North, that would include fast-tracking the process as part of a development agreement, bypassing the traditional rezoning procedures, and providing funding residents think should go to other projects. Well, one woman has risen above her lifelong struggle with addiction through storytelling.
We'll tell you how one organization helped her get back on her feet.
So, you're looking for help with your mortgage. Worried about foreclosure? Messy stuff.
We're a mortgage rescue company. We can help you keep your house. All we ask for in return is that you submit to our plans for galactic domination. We're not so different, you and I. Sign.
Yeah, this is not what we...
Have you met my henchman, Radu?
Nice to meet you.
Radu.
We're just we'll see you later.
If you're facing foreclosure, make sure you're talking to the right people. Speak with HUD-approved housing counselors free of charge at 888-995-HOPE.
To you, this is a place to hang a coat. To someone else, it's a place to teach a child a lesson he'll never forget. Preventing child abuse and neglect doesn't just mean reporting it. It means stopping it before it starts. Find out how at preventchildabuse.org or 1-800-CHILDREN. A child is helpless. You are not.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. Local advocacy groups are continuing their efforts to end homelessness in our area by the year 2020. The Interfaith Council estimates there are 200 homeless people in Chapel Hill. Those of us who frequently go to Franklin Street are accustomed to seeing them, hoping to get some spare change or looking for a safe place to sleep. The Interfaith Council spends more than $1 million a year to feed and provide programs for homeless people in Chapel Hill. But there are success stories in the battle against homelessness. Reporter Alexandra Press shows us how one woman who got a second chance because of a local group giving her help.
Crystal Clark grew up in a home of alcoholism and drug abuse.
I lean towards drugs, I lean towards alcohol, and basically that's what's been my life all up until the last year.
She lived primarily with her father, a Vietnam veteran with PTSD and violent tendencies.
We lived in a trailer, and he picked me up and basically threw me through the paneling wall, and I landed on the bed in the next room. And I remember that night I slept with a knife under my pillow.
After that, Clark sought to live elsewhere, such as foster homes.
I was placed in this, what they call normal functioning environment, and I basically went catatonic. I would sit there for hours and I wouldn't move because I didn't know what to do when someone put their arm around me.
Dissatisfied, Clark went from home to home.
You know, in order to take care of myself at 15, I became an exotic dancer. I went and I got on the school bus every morning. I went to school like everybody else, and I danced at night.
Clark's childhood nightmares followed her everywhere, even into the most treasured parts of her adult life.
I sold my car for drugs for like $3. That's crazy. You see your kids suffer. You see the people around you suffer.
She realized she needed help.
I gotta love me first. And that was part of my healing, was that I didn't love me enough.
Clark sent her children to live with family. Then she moved into a shelter to get back on her feet. And that's when she met Lyndon Harris with Hidden Voices.
If we can help people to become compassionate about an issue, to ask questions, to break beyond the stereotype, then there's an opportunity for them to help create change.
Because if it weren't for somebody out there telling their story to me, I wouldn't be who I am.
Since then, she has regained her kids, gotten engaged, and has been clean for 15 months.
I love it. I love being able to wake up in the mornings and cook for the kids, dance in the middle of the living room floor to Etta James at 10 o'clock at night, and I like the not normal for me life.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Alexandra Press, Carolina Week.
For information about how you can help or how you can volunteer at the Home Start Shelter, go to our website, carolinaweek.org. Cancer is now the #1 killer in the United States. A team from the UNC Lineberg Comprehensive Cancer Center has come a few steps closer to finding a treatment for one form of the disease. More than 38,000 people die from pancreatic cancer in the United States annually. According to an article published in the Journal of Biological Chemistry, the UNC team has found a specimen protein that could be the key to reducing that number through advances in treatment. This research has been underway for nearly 3 decades.
A UNC genetics team might have found the answer to why some people get drunk more quickly than others. Researchers at UNC discovered a gene that affects the way individual systems break down alcohol. The TIPSY gene is a variant found in 10 to 20% of the population. A person with the gene feels more inebriated than the average person after only a couple drinks. Researchers believe the TIPSY gene variant might protect carriers from alcoholism because people feel less likely to continue drinking. Well, what combines dancing, singing, and crazy costumes? Dance Marathon, of course. This week, recruiters for the March event are on campus to sign up dancers. Students came to the pit dressed in wacky costumes, and it's all for the kids. This week, you can register for Dance Marathon, an organization that raises money for the NC Children's Hospital. Recruiters hope to register 1,600 dancers by the end of the week. That's the most that Fetzer Gym can hold. The 24-hour dance lasts from February 18th to February 19th. Well, weathercaster Patrick DeVore joins us in the studio. Patrick, it's really warm out there.
Yes, is this typical weather for this time of year?
It is, but it's going to change as we head into next week, and I'll tell you more coming up.
Weight loss, it's one of the many ways to fight osteoarthritis pain. For more information on managing pain, go to fightarthritispain.org.
Congratulations! I'm sure you'll have many happy years here.
Except for you, because you'll be gone 3 years from now, struck down by the same disease that got your father. Sadly, it could have been detected early with a simple test.
For a list of tests every man should have, go to ahrq.gov.
There's also an extended warranty option. There's just no need for you to get that. You failed to get the test that you needed at the doctor, so you won't be around in 2 years. Okay, sign here, please.
For a list of tests every man should have, go to ahrq.gov.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. I'm weathercaster Patrick DeVore. Well, if you've been able to get outside today, you'll feel our temperatures have returned to normal, which is around the 60s for this time of year. However, this weekend we could be seeing a brief warm-up, and there could be chances for rain next week. I'll get to that in a little bit. Taking a look at our satellite, you can see that there's this massive area of clouds out in the Atlantic. That's what brought all the snow and rain to the northeast this weekend, and a little bit of snow to us here in the mountains. Our surface map, you can see that this high pressure area is now sitting over top of us in North Carolina, which is helping to bring us our lovely clear blue skies and seasonal temperatures. And that high pressure will weaken a little bit tomorrow, but another one will take its place out in the Midwest, start to move eastward, and pushing a cold front along in front of it, bringing our chances for rain next week. Looking at our radar, you can see that there's not much going on around here. There were a few spotty showers out in the west and up in the north, but those are not going to be affecting us anytime soon. And if you're going to the game on Friday night, you'll see that tip-off time will have clear skies and highs in the 50s. After the game, you're going to be looking at temperatures in the mid-40s, but again, clear skies. So make sure you take a jacket or something to keep warm afterwards. If you're planning on going to the football game on Saturday against Virginia Tech, tailgate will be beautiful with clear skies in the upper 50s. Kickoff you'll see temperatures in the mid-60s, and post-game it'll be chilly because temperatures will be dropping quickly under our clear skies, with temperatures in the 60s, dropping fast as the night goes on. If you want to get away this weekend instead, you might want to think about going to the mountains and checking out the fall color. The North Carolina Piedmont, you're going to be seeing leaves just at peak. In the North Carolina mountains, while it's past peak overall, the majority of Asheville has just entered peak. The snow and the cold temperatures from last weekend have contributed to diminish the color from in the mountains. And the Virginia mountains are also at peak, so it should be a beautiful weekend no matter where you go. Tonight, we're going to be looking at clear skies in the lower 40s. Again, temperatures are going to be dropping very quickly with our clear skies. Northerly breezes will help contribute to that. They will be getting a little stronger as the night goes on, so make sure you keep a jacket handy and bundle up. Tomorrow, highs in the mid-60s. Seasonable for this time of year. We're getting back to normal for the first time in a while, so make sure you dress appropriately. Clear skies, 64, light northerly winds. Again, a little stronger in the afternoon. Our 5-day forecast, you can see that we're going to have clear skies, mostly clear skies on Thursday and through the weekend with temperatures in the mid-60s, as well as our chance of rain increases a little bit as we head back into the work week with better chances for rain coming at the end, towards the middle and end of next week. Lows throughout the weekend in the mid-30s.
Oh, that sounds like great weather. I'm actually pleasantly surprised that I'm not freezing right now. I thought it'd be, really cold at this time of year, but it's great weather and I really love it.
Yeah, we really have got back to seasonal temperatures, and it's a nice change from our crazy extreme highs and ridiculous low lows.
Absolutely. A beautiful next couple days. Thanks, Patrick.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Well, are you interested in a new workout routine? More than 100 students gathered Tuesday to experience the P90X Challenge.
Are you kids ready?
Students met the P90X coach Josh Spencer at the Carolina Club for a group exercise demo. Health and Fitness magazine The Well-Being coordinated the event. Organizers of student-run publications hope to keep the workout on campus as a new free workout program for all students. Tuesday's expo was the first P90X presentation on a college campus. And sportscaster Justin Pace joins us live right here in the studio. Justin, what do we have to look forward to this weekend?
We got a big game, right?
Eddie, that would actually be a little bit of an understatement. This is probably the biggest football game of the season for the Tar Heels, taking on Virginia Tech. Patrick mentioned it just a couple seconds ago at Kenan Stadium on Saturday, so a big game for them. But also, coming up after the break, Carolina's women's teams will also look to bounce back this weekend in their respective NCAA tournaments.
What if a disaster strikes without warning?
What if life as you know it has completely turned on its head? What if everything familiar becomes anything but? Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed today. Learn how at ready.gov.
Hands can do incredible things. Now they can even help save a life with hands-only CPR. If you see an adult suddenly collapse, just call 911, then push hard and fast in the center of the chest until help arrives. Learn more at handsonlycpr.org.
Americans is struggling with hunger. Who's the 1 in 8 in your life? You can help today. Visit feedingamerica.org/1 in 8 to find your local food bank.
Welcome to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Justin Page. Despite controversy off the field, the UNC football team is now 6-3 and will play its biggest game of the season on Saturday against league leader Virginia Tech. Carolina trails Tech by only 2 games in the ACC standings and will need a win to stay in the hunt. The Heels and Hokies have developed quite a rivalry during the past couple of seasons. The past 2 games have actually each been decided by only 3 points. Last season, wide receiver Greg Little led the Heels to their best win of the season against the Hokies on a Thursday night game in Blacksburg. And although the team won't have Little this weekend, another receiver could lift Carolina over Virginia Tech. Junior Dwight Jones has racked up more than 100 yards in 3 of the past 4 games and has also scored 3 touchdowns. Jones is coming off the best game of his career last week against Florida State, and he'll need to have another big game if the Heels want to stay in the running for the ACC Coastal Division title. It will certainly be a challenge, though, because Virginia Tech has one of the best defenses in the country. The game kicks off Saturday at 3:30 at Kenan Stadium. After a busy preseason, the UNC men's basketball team officially begins the regular season this weekend when they welcome the Lipscomb Bisons to the Smith Center. UNC enters the season ranked number 8 in the A-Season preseason poll. That's a reason to dance and get ready because this season's freshmen have already proved that they mean business. Coach Roy Williams says this year he hopes to get back to the fast-paced tempo the program prides itself on. Freshman point guard Kendall Marshall will definitely be a key player in stepping up the pace on the court. And last season, the team also struggled to find a go-to scorer. But it looks like Tyler Zeller has finally come into his own. He scored 25 points in the exhibition game last weekend and is noticeably stronger around the rim. The game tips off Friday at 7 and will be televised on the Fox Sports Network. The women's basketball team is ready to kick off the season after an exhibition win against Carson Newman Monday night. Preseason All-ACC forward Jessica Breland was impressive all game long. She had 14 points and 11 rebounds, including this putback right here for an opening night double-double. Good stuff by her. But one of the best plays of the night, though, was this no-look pass from Satara de Graffner. Look at that, to Italy Lucas in the corner for 3. Lucas paced the Heels with 17 points. And once again, here's Breland one more time. Watch this with the jumper. And guess what? She gets the foul, too. Now, we've heard of a lot of crazy score befores, but this game, it really got out of control. The Tar Heels raced out to a 36-0 lead and never looked back. And listen to this. Heels get the win, 116-27. Just incredible. The ladies begin their season against North Florida Friday at 4 at Carmichael. The women's soccer team will open up NCAA tournament play this weekend. And after a devastating loss in the last weekend in the ACC semifinals against Wake Forest, the top-seeded Tar Heels will host SWAC champions Jackson State in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Going into the game, the Heels are 17-2-2 and enter the tournament as the defending national champions. 2 key players, you see one of them right there, leading scorer Courtney Jones and ACC Defensive Player of the Year Crystal Dunn were injured in the tournament last week, and coaches aren't sure just yet if either of the ladies will play in the first round. The game kicks off at 5 o'clock on Friday. And after losing in the ACC title game last weekend, the UNC field hockey team will start its national title defense also right here in Chapel Hill. First up, Carolina will take on Stanford on Saturday at 11:30 a.m. and with a win, will either face off against Michigan or Old Dominion Sunday at 2. The ladies are now 19-2 on the season and have recorded 11 shutouts. And if the Heels can hold their home turf this weekend, They'll earn a spot in the NCAA semifinals next weekend at Maryland. The men's soccer team is also fresh off an undefeated conference regular season and ready to kick off the ACC tournament. UNC enters the first round of the tournament tonight against rival NC State down the road in Cary. In fact, the game kicks off in just a few minutes at 5:30 at the WakeMed Soccer Center in Cary. The Heels actually played State earlier this season and opened ACC play with a 1-0 road win against the Wolfpack back in September. So definitely a busy time right now for UNC sports. Tournament time here, football season in the thick of things, and basketball just about to kick off.
Absolutely. I'm really looking forward to Saturday's game. I'm going to be out there, but I'm really upset that I'm not going to make it out to the Dean Dome this weekend.
I'm sure it was a lot of us are excited about the first basketball game of the season, the real good one. What do you think this basketball team is going to look like this year?
Well, it certainly can't get any worse than the team did last year, making it to the NIT, missing out on the NCAA tournament. There's a lot of talent this year on the roster. Of course, preseason All-America freshman Harrison Barnes. He should be able to carry the Heels pretty far this season, or at least we can hope so.
All righty.
Well, we're all hoping for that. Thank you, Justin.
Thanks, Justin. Well, how stressed would you say you are?
Coming up, we'll show you how some mindful meditation could help you put one of the dictionary's newest words into action. Chillax.
If you have a story idea, call Carolina Week at 919-843-8292 or email us at carolinaweek@unc.edu. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNC-CH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina 27599. Be sure to check out Carolina Week and Carolina Connection online at carolinaweek.org.
Do you like this top? So gay. Really? Yeah, it's totally gay.
You really shouldn't say that.
Say what?
Well, say that something's gay when you mean it's bad. It's insulting. What if every time something was bad, everybody said, "Oh, that's so girl wearing a skirt as a top"?
Oh, you are.
Those are cute jeans, though. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
So my uncle calls and he says he's dizzy and he's losing his balance. I'm like, Unc, you want me to take you to a doctor? He's like, no, I'm gonna look up the symptoms. I said, your symptoms are you're dizzy and you're losing your balance. So he said, I can't get on the internet because my arm is numb. I said, well, use your good arm and dial 911.
Stroke's no joke. If you or someone you love is showing symptoms of stroke, don't wait because it might be too late. Dial 911. Time lost is brain lost.
Welcome back to Carolina Week. Well, we all know what it's like to feel stressed out in college, and sometimes balancing classes and other activities can be very difficult.
Absolutely, Eddie. So I spoke to some experts who offered advice about how you can reduce your stress.
Chris Lee is a senior at Duke University. He wakes up every morning to do meditation before getting ready for the day. His parents do yoga and meditation, so both practices became an important part of his life from an early age. Chris says meditation helps him balance all his responsibilities and find some time for himself.
In terms of stress, clearing your mind in general, if you don't even want to compartmentalize, can help you just live in the moment and breathe for part of the day.
Living in the moment is exactly what Susan Gaylord recommends people should try to focus on. Gaylord is the director of UNC's program on integrative medicine, which offers a mindfulness-based program for stress management.
Mindfulness is based on an ancient tradition based on the Buddhist teachings of learning how to stay in the present moment.
The stress reduction program offers classes that use meditation to help people slow down from their everyday lives. Paula Hovman is an instructor of the program and says meditation is especially helpful for students.
It allows you a chance to absolutely do nothing but sit and breathe. But meditation can really just help you clear things out so that you create ease around your whole life.
You can sit down on the floor or on a chair in a comfortable position. Close your eyes or focus on an object. Breathe normally and focus on each breath as you inhale and exhale. It's normal for your mind to wander. If it does, acknowledge the thought and come back to the breath.
Experts recommend, Eddie, that you do this 5 to 10 minutes each day, and it would really help.
All right, well, thanks for those suggestions, Claudia. I feel more relaxed already. Well, that does it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thank you so much for watching, and have a great night.